Good morning students, this is your English lesson. In this lesson we are going to read unit number 12, Reggedy and the Kite from Oxford Reading Circle. Let's get started. Reggedy is a rag doll owned by a girl called Marcella. One day in the park, Reggedy watched a group of children working busily. They tied some sticks together with strings and covered the frame with light cloth. While they worked, they talked about the kite, so Reggedy knew this must be a kite. Once they had fastened a tail to the kite and tied a large ball of twine to the front, one of the boys held it up in the air and another boy walked off unwinding the ball of twine. There was a nice breeze blowing, so the boy with the twine called, "Let her go," and started running. Marcella and Reggedy watched the kite sail through the air. It soared, fly or rise high in the air. But suddenly the kite acted strangely. It began darting to and fro to move about quickly, and finally making 4 or 5 loops, it crashed to the ground. "It needs more tail," one boy shouted. Then the children wondered where they might get more rags to fasten to the tail of the kite. "Let's tie Reggedy to the tail," suggested Marcella. "She would enjoy a flight." The children all cheered at this new suggestion, so Reggedy was tied to the tail of the kite. This time the kite rose straight in the air and remained steady. The boy with the ball of twine unwound it until the kite and Reggedy were way up and far away. Reggedy enjoyed being up there. She could see for miles and the children looked so tiny. All of a sudden, a great puff of wind came and carried Reggedy and the kite away. She could hear the wind singing on the train as it stretched. But then Reggedy felt a rip in the rag to which she was tied. As each puff of wind caught her, the rip widened. Rip to pull something quickly. When Marcella watched Reggedy rise high above the field, she wished that she too could fly. But after the kite had been up in the air for 5 or 10 minutes, Marcella grew restless. "Will you please pull down the kite now?" she asked the boy with the twine. "I want Reggedy let her fly," the boy replied. "We will bring her home to you later." Marcella did not like to leave Reggedy so she sat down to wait. Marcella could not see the wind ripping the rag to which Reggedy was tied. Suddenly the rag parted and Reggedy was blown away by the wind. Marcella jumped up, too surprised to say anything. The kite, released from the weight of Reggedy, began darting and swooping. Darting moved somewhere rapidly, swooping moved rapidly downwards to the ground. "We will get her for you," some of the children said when they saw Marcella's troubled face, and they started running in the direction Reggedy had fallen. Marcella ran with them. They ran, and at last they found the kite upon the ground by Marcella's house, but they could not find Reggedy anywhere. "She must have fallen near your yard," a boy said to Marcella, "for the kite was directly over here when the doll fell." Marcella was heartbroken. She went in the house and lay on the bed. Mama and Daddy went out with the children and tried to find Reggedy but Reggedy was now here to be seen. Marcella couldn't be persuaded to eat dinner, persuaded to make someone to do. persuaded to eat dinner and lay and sobbed on her bed until finally she went to sleep. As she slept, Marcella dreamed that Raggedy Ann had come home to her. She woke with a cry. Of course, Mama came to her bed right away and said that Daddy would offer a reward in the morning for the return of Raggedy. It was all my fault, Mama, Marcella said. I should not have given the children dear old Raggedy Ann to tie on the kite. Mama soothed her with cheering words, although she felt indeed that Raggedy Ann was truly lost and would never be found again. Now, where was Raggedy Ann all this time? When Raggedy Ann dropped from the kite, the wind caught in her skirt and carried her along until she fell with the third move, face up in the fork of the large tree directly over Marcella's house. Two robins who had a nest nearby flew chattering away. Presently the robins returned and called at Raggedy Ann for lying so close to their nest, but Raggedy Ann only smiled at them and did not move. Then the robins quieted down and quit their quarreling. Evening came and the robins sang their good night songs and Raggedy Ann watched the stars come out, twinkle all night and disappear in the morning light. In the morning, Mama Robin hopped up closer to Raggedy Ann in order to investigate. She called to Daddy Robin and told him to come. See the nice yarn, we could use it to line the nest with, she said. So the robins hopped closer to Raggedy Ann and asked if they might have some of the yarn here to line their nest. Raggedy Ann smiled at them. So the two robins pulled and tugged at Raggedy Ann's yarn hair until they had enough to line their nest and loosened less tight or firm, so she could peep over the side of the limb. Raggedy Ann saw she was in the trees in her own yard. Just then, before eating any breakfast, Marcella started out to find Raggedy Ann. As she searched in the garden, Mama Robin and Daddy Robin started calling cheery cheery to each other. Marcella looking up into the tree above the house to see the robins and discovered Raggedy Ann peeping down at her. Here is Reggedy Ann, she shouted happily. Marcella's parents came out and saw Reggedy smiling down. They climbed out of the attic a low story, and poked Raggedy Ann, poked to push something. Raggedy Ann out of the tree with a stick and she fell right into Marcella's arms where she was hugged tightly. You will never go up on a kite again, Raggedy Ann, said Marcella. I missed you. I will never let you out of my sight again.
That is a reading of the topic, the Reggedy Ann and the kite. So read the topic carefully. So in the next lecture, inshallah, we'll try to definitely explore the explanation of this unit. Thank you for listening to the video. Take care. Allah Hafiz.